someone who says I'm against abortion but says I'm in favor of the death penalty is not really pro-life.
The Pope says that, again, the vicar of Christ on earth, the one who's in Peter's chair, he says that you can't be pro-life and for capital punishment, which I find so peculiar because God is both those things. He is for the preservation and protection of human life, and he is clearly for capital punishment in cases like rape, in cases like murder, in cases like kidnapping and enslaving. And it's all over the Bible. And, somebody could say, well, that was Old Testament. Okay. Well, Jesus said in Matthew 5:17-19 that he did not come to destroy the law and the prophets, but to fulfill them. And if you teach anybody to disobey even the least of these commandments, you'll be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever does them and teaches them will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. So Jesus' view of the law is do not even begin to think that I've come to destroy the law or the prophets. And so interesting. Also, that the Apostle Paul, in his ministry in Acts 25, during his ministry in Acts 25, he says something that is just powerful. After the cross, after the resurrection, after the ascension of Jesus, so the new covenant now is like in force, all right? Jesus is on his throne. He's accomplished redemption. All that's done now. He says, when he's on trial, essentially, he says, if I've done anything worthy of death, this is an inspired apostle, in the new covenant, he says, if I've done anything worthy of death, then I don't object to dying, which means that there are things, according to an inspired apostle, that are actually worthy of the death penalty, and it would be right for Paul to be executed for those things. And so he says, if I've done anything worthy of it, then I don't object to dying, all right? Because that's just, that's the right thing that should happen. And that's in the new covenants, post-cross, post-resurrection, post-ascension. That's Paul, inspired apostle, very reliable source. And there's more, of course, in the New Testament itself in terms of capital punishment, but the Bible is just filled with this from the very mouth of God. So you have a question, a decision to make. Who do I believe? Whose voice carries the weight? Whose voice is the reference point? Is it Pope Leo, the modern-day Roman Catholic pontiff in 2025? Or is it God himself in his inspired revelation? We've got it. Roman Catholics are holding on to it. Christians are holding on to it. You can get access to it. You can order it on Amazon. It'll be there by noon, all right? And so you can get these, and the words are there. And I know that I have Roman Catholic friends and family that would agree with me on this point. This guy is telling tales of the schoolyard. This does not make any sense. I mean, saying that as a vicar of Christ, this is the right position. You can't be pro-life and capital punishment. Again, God is both those things in Scripture. Protect and preserve innocent human life and execute guilty criminals. And so, a couple verses, and this is by no means comprehensive or exhaustive. Genesis 9, verse 6. Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed, for God made man in his own image. That's the reason why. God gives you the reason, the for God made man in his own image. Notice that there's no text that says, if you kill an animal to eat it, then you got to lose your life because, blood for blood sort of a thing. That's not even there because you have beasts, you have creatures, and then you have the imago Dei. All right? And so God's saying, here's why you kill the person who killed a person, because God made man in his own image. And so that deserves execution. Exodus 21, verse 12, whoever strikes a man so that he dies shall be put to death. And then Exodus 21, 17, whoever curses his father or his mother shall be put to death. Exodus 21, verse 16, whoever steals a man and sells him, and anyone found in possession of him shall be put to death. There is man stealing, and that's kidnapping is death penalty. I mean, that's what God says. Kidnapping is death penalty, which is powerful. Exodus 21:15, whoever strikes his father or his mother shall be put to death. Exodus 22:19, here you go, it's a big one, it's an important one. I wish you'd put this one out there today. Whoever lies with an animal shall be put to death. The whole furry community is gone.
Yeah. Right?
People that, that have this obsession with bestiality and animal sex and all those sorts, all that kind of depraved stuff. Leviticus 20, verse 10, if a man commits adultery with the wife of his neighbor, both the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. And here is the standard from Exodus 21, 23 through 25. We'll end with this. But if there is harm, then you shall pay life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, stripe for stripe. Lex talionis, equal justice, okay? Can't be unequal justice. And so the point for equal justice is if you go so far as to engage in murdering an image bearer of God, you can't make that right? With theft, you can repay, and there's standards in Scripture about what that repayment should look like. It's different from just like general theft to theft of a business, something like that. But you can make that right in some way. But when it comes to the murder of another human being, the only way on this side of heaven to make it right is you have to have life for life. You murdered a human being. It's an unjustified killing of a human being. And so you forfeited your right to live. That's biblical. There's no way around it. And it's an amazing thing to me that God has spoken so clearly and repetitively on this issue in Scripture, and you would still have a Roman Catholic Pope and even professing Christians deny it. And so you say, okay, well, what's the solution for murder? And so people will suggest, well, I think what we do now is we send them to the penitentiary so they become penitent. Mm-hmm. So they become penitent over time. And so what do? You have a victim now, the murdered victim. That life is gone now. So then you take the person, the perpetrator, the one who actually executed that person, and you put him into a cage like an animal for life behind bars. Sometimes not even that. Sometimes people murder people and they actually get out of jail, right? And so where's the justice in that? They still have their life. And what happens in our system today is you have a penitentiary system that wants to make people penitent. And so you put them into a cage like an animal, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, for years. And you go, all right, I guess maybe that solves it. Put them in a cage like an animal, I suppose. But they don't just get there with no bankroll. I mean, it has to be bankrolled. And who's it bankrolled by? It's bankrolled by the community around the offender, which means that this person murdered this person. What did the community around that have to do with the murder? Not a thing. But who's also being punished for the murder? Well, the person who was executed is, they're paying for the murder. They've lost their life, but also now the community around the offender is now also paying for the murder for the rest of their lives, because you have a system that is not just, that doesn't simply say fair trial, cross-examination, right witness and testimony evidence that has to be in place. And then you have, of course, execution. And now that person is gone. No one else is paying for that crime. I'm not paying for it anymore, right? The guy, he's paid for it with his own life. And that's the way to actually have justice according to Scripture. So
this video is brought to you by Amtac Blades. We are very excited to be partnering with Amtac. Bill Rapier, longtime Navy SEAL, DevGuru operator, amazing brother and friend. Looking for a battle axe to carry on your person, to chop some wood? They've got you covered. Looking for a blade to carry on you every day? Also got you covered. Look at this. I got to check my mail. What do we got going on here? Oh, look how sharp that is. What is this? Oh, 5% off. You can go to amtacblades.com, put Apologia in the coupon code, get 5% off your order, and he will match that and give 5% to End Abortion Now. Again, amtacblades.com. We're grateful for them. Check them out.
I just wanted to make an observation. Apparently the Pope is not in favor of the inhumane treatment of immigrants, but is perfectly okay with treating murderers, rapists, and man-stealers inhumanely by throwing them in cages for the rest of their lives.
That's right. He doesn't like the immigrants in cages, probably, but that rapist, though.
Yeah.
I think we'll end with this. I think we would see a dramatic transformation in our society on a number of levels if we dealt with murder swiftly, with justice, public justice, execution. We would see a dramatic change in the area of rape, child sexual abuse, sex trafficking. Because sex trafficking, think about it, is two things. You have what in sex trafficking? Kidnapping and sexual abuse and rape, right? So there's no question. You just deserve to die, period. And if we treated pedophilia that way, child rape that way, we could preserve so many people's lives because, as Ecclesiastes 8 says, when the sentence against an evil deed is not executed speedily, the hearts of men are emboldened to do wickedness. And so people are emboldened to do evil because you will not do justice quickly. And so, in my area, I think I've mentioned this before, and then we'll go to a commercial, Gabe, right after this. I'm giving you a lead here, Gabe. In my area, there's an app where you can pull up all the sex offenders in your area. And dude, I don't know what it is about my area. I don't know if I mentioned this before. I don't know what it is about my area in Phoenix, but that thing lights up. And I don't know if people have invited them, like, hey, move in this little 2-mile radius, because it is nothing but red dots all around. A red dot. I even looked at like your area and other areas. I'm like, is it just me? So I did. I went to other areas,
nothing like that.
and you spread it out, and I'm like, where's the red? There's like no red or one red. I've just got dots all around me. I mean, it is just amazing. You got to like pull out to be able to see clearly all the red dots in my area. And so you look at something like that, and you can actually click on each red dot, and you can see the person and their case. And some of them are heinous.
Oh yeah.
Heinous. And you're like, how'd this person get out of jail? I mean, if you're going to put them there, I mean, protect the public.
Yeah.
But think about how we could mitigate against more and more child sexual abuse and sex offenders by simply saying, you do this to another person, you will lose your life, and it'll be public.
Yeah.
It will dramatically change. Will it stop rape and sexual abuse? Not in a fallen world. But it will dramatically diminish those numbers, I assure you. And that's what Scripture says.